All right. Good morning, Allie. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. So I've got your resume here in front of me, and you and I were chatting yesterday off camera in regards to your background. You are a recent new grad, and ultimately what you're looking for within an organization, because that was something that was very important to you. So why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about your ideal company fit that you're ultimately looking for?
Yeah, so specifically me getting my bachelor's degree and everything like that, I'm necessarily looking for a company that has a really good culture and background and dependability. So I know specifically this company, has been founded in 1976. So clearly, it's been around and it's a reliable source. And I think that's the thing is that if I'm going to join a company, I want to join a company that I have the potential to grow in and that I also have the capability of feeling like a family member. If I'm going to be investing a bunch of time and work and stuff like that into a company, I want to know that they care for me just the same and appreciate what I am putting in. And make it, like a home environment. I feel like just relying on a company that I don't know anything about and stuff like that can be really a scary situation. So just a company I can be proud of that I know that, will respect me as an employee, but also, respects itself as a company and is really well known and reliable.
Fantastic. And then also the industry itself for this particular opening was something that of interest you because of your own passions and the companies that you were targeting prior to you and I meeting. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and your passion for this industry?
Yeah, so I know when I was looking for specific job types, my real interest is the outdoor industry. Like I know, I didn't know specifically what I wanted. I just know that I'm very passionate about the outdoors. Like I love, you know, wildlife management. Like I'm a big hunter and fisher, so I feel like having, a background in that, knowing, I'm passionate about that kind of stuff. I'm like, why wouldn't I be passionate about doing what it takes to like protect the land and, do what it takes like in something that interests me. I know it interests me outside of work, so why wouldn't I want to do something like that for work?
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of why I've been kind of looking for something that direction.
Fantastic. And then obviously as a new grad, you still do have some fantastic administrative experience and what you were doing in your last role. And we'll get to that here in just a moment. We were kind of talking about how we could connect the dots, right? As far as administration, some project management. And you were telling me how ultimately you could see yourself doing things that were, very heavy with data and organization and project management. And this opportunity was kind of a great foot in the door to that. So, but let's start by learning a little bit more about what you were doing most recently for work in an administrative capacity.
Yeah, so I was working in a company called Barisma, and I was a release of information specialist, and then eventually got opened up to a release of information auditing position. So essentially, what I would do is I would process medical records from a company that we work with, New York Health and Hospitals, and we would have desktops, the hospital desktop on our computer, and we would get requests from law firms, other doctors' offices, other hospitals, patient requests. And then when I moved to the auditing, I would have audits come in. And what we would essentially do is that we would make sure, for just the regular medical records, that they're all HIPAA qualified before we release anything, like the patient security. And we would read through specifically what that requester is needing. We would go into the system because we had different databases and systems, and we would pull those medical records, and we would go through them to make sure that everything in them was allowed to be released. And then we would attach the records and then essentially send those out to the requesters based on, what they were needing.
Yep.
So a lot of, you know, reading through records and data organization, I would say, and then using a bunch of different computer systems and stuff. I'm always on I have two different desktops on my monitors all day. So it's like a lot of toggling back and forth between desktops, but really gave me a good background in the technology side of things because I didn't really have that experience before that position. So it opened my eyes to a lot of that opportunity.
Fantastic. And I love that because what you're doing right now for work definitely laid a good foundation from a skill set. Obviously, if something is confidential, that you're verifying that it can be released before you do so, making sure that all the data that you need is there, and making sure it's all accurate and correct, and getting to the correct, oh gosh, endpoint, I guess is what I'm looking for. So a lot of moving parts. So I really like that. Now, you mentioned technology. What's your favorite piece of technology to keep you organized in the day?
Hmm. So I would say I really enjoy my Google Teams. I never used Teams until recently, and obviously the Outlook calendar, like I'm a big calendar girl. So having, the Google Teams to where we can automatically use that um to set up, with the calendar, the links and all that. Like I really enjoyed having that set up specifically to be able to talk with supervisors and different team members and stuff. So like if someone needed, maybe a little bit of training, once I had worked on auditing a little bit, there were some girls that were new to the team that needed help on something. Well, having, teams right there available, they could just, message me and we could set up a little call to go over something that they had a question on,
Yeah.
which was really, really nice because, other than that, you like, if you don't have that, you're messaging back and forth and, hey, is this a good time? And this and that. And like, if you just have it set and you can see it, then it's good.
Yep. Fantastic. I love that. Now, Allie, what is the most important thing to you about the next company you work for?
So for me, I would say it's a company that, really has, like we mentioned before, really good qualities. That's a really reliable company that treats their employees like family. Like it's a very cultural, oriented place.
Yeah.
But I also am looking for somewhere that, believes in its employees. And, for me, obviously, I don't have a lot of experience in the environmental side of things, but it is something I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things that a lot of positions nowadays you apply for, and it's like, I have the degree that I could potentially, put forth, but if you don't have that exact experience, then it's like, sorry. And it's like one of those things where I just need that one opportunity to be able to get my foot in the door and then I'll be able to prove myself, but I just have to have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, I think this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for that. I think you definitely bring the required foundation from an administrative side, and then the passion for the industry. So I'm really excited to get you submitted. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording and chat with you a little bit more if that sounds good.
Yeah.